guys, it's Erin, and if we can forgive a cold that one of Mike's coworkers gave me, then we can get through this, and if not, I'm really sorry. Um, I'm working in my Large Dilutions journal today, and I made this background like a couple weeks before I filmed this video, and I wasn't intending on filming it, but I decided that maybe it would, you guys would want to see what I'm doing. So what I did was I took a decorative napkin and I got a package of decorative napkins from two of my friends. One of them is Monique and the other one is Mary LTA. And I don't remember which one of them gave me this napkin because I kind of mixed them all together. But but yeah, so it's one of them, and I really appreciate them taking the time to send me, decorative napkins of all things, right? But I keep seeing Dee Dee doing her napkin backgrounds, and I wanted to try some. And going to the Dollar Tree and having 700 of the same one, but nothing else, kind of didn't really work for me. So they were kind enough to share one or two of their stash with me, and so I picked this like ivy, not ivy, holly. I picked this holly, and I went with that, and then I took two different coloring book pictures. One of them is just a fairy, and the other one is one of those ones I bought right after I saw James Luckerberg. He did a bunch of Disney, like when he was first, I guess, on the Diane Reedley Facebook, and he was always showing pieces of Disney coloring books, and I thought, you know what, I love Disney so much, and I want to use them in a more, air quote, adult kind of way. So I purchased a bunch of Disney books, and I haven't used a whole ton of them, but I thought I could use Sven here for a wintry scene. Now, he's not going to end up as Sven. I didn't look up how to color him or anything. I just, he's a reindeer, but he's a cute, recognizable reindeer if you've been forced to see Frozen 7,000 times by your toddlers, or if you just happen to like the movie because, you're a Disney nerd as an adult. So, yeah. And what I'm doing is I'm going over the background with paint, and it's just Americana Craft paint. But what I'm doing for the sky and the grass or the trees or whatever the heck it's going to be, I don't even know at this point. I'm watering it down. I have water off camera just to my left that you can't see, but I'm making sure that my paint and my brush is really really wet when I'm coming back, so that instead of doing it all fancy and a palette and all that stuff, air quote fancy, but I'm doing it the lazy way, essentially. And that way I can get the napkin to shine through without it being overwhelming, because those colors didn't necessarily work in the sky. But I really like the pattern, and of course you can still see the red from the holly berries, so that works too. I don't know if I'm going to make it through all of this video without coughing at you. I'm sorry. But I'm also using the high-tech, finger method of just kind of rubbing it on there. Originally, I intended to blend this out more, and I didn't, but, whatever. I don't really care. It's a weird, blobby kind of tree. We'll just go with that, right? So, yeah, that's what I did. And one of the reasons I know a lot of people, especially Dee Dee, and people that stream, they work with, their heat gun and everything. But one of the things that I really love about art journaling is all of those stages where it has to sit and dry, because I use those times to think about what the heck that I'm doing. And the reason that this was actually left for so long until I decided to film it weeks later was because I had no idea what I was going to do after this. I glued down the napkin. I said, you know what, I don't want to color these ahead of time, so I'm just going to glue these coloring book pages down, and I'll paint them or marker them or something when they're down there. But after that, I'm like, I have no idea where I'm going to go with this. I'm so sorry. Uh, CF colds are really bad, so it's either I film this now, or, you guys wait another 4 weeks for me to finish this. So I figured I would just forge ahead, and if it bothers you, I'm so sorry, but there's not a whole lot I can do. Sick people are going to be sick. But, anyway, so I finally, weeks later, I woke up with the idea of, okay, this is what you can do. You don't have to go with Sven. She doesn't have to, this fairy girl doesn't have to have a purpose or anything. Just go with like a winter scene. I mean, I live in the Southern California mountains. We get a lot of snow. We get a lot of winter scenes. We don't happen to have reindeer. We're actually too high for regular deer, too. Regular deer do not appreciate 7,000 feet in the air. That's a new fact, you know. But, but we do get a lot of winter, and so therefore I've accumulated huge love of winter scenes and evergreen trees, and that's my golden retriever puppy, so I'm sorry. He's snoring in his little cage next to me, but I'm surprised I haven't woken him up. So I thought that that's what I could do, right? It could just be a little winter scene. Maybe this girl has created a snowstorm. I don't know. So it's whatever your imagination says, because my imagination did not create it. But I'm just using a yogurt lid as my palette, and I'm using a fine detail brush, and I'm going through and painting this, because once you put matte medium on everything, your pencils, they will work, but you're going to have the texture of that, and you're going to have the texture of anything that's under there. So this nice textury napkin is going to show through on your pencils, so you're going to get lines. And there's only a certain amount of markers that you can use. You'll see the ones that I use later. So you have to pick how you're going to do this. So if you just want to glue down your images first, just be aware that you're limiting what you can do with the images. And of course, normally I would watercolor with these, and then when I put matte medium on it, it makes the watercolor run. I'm aware of that, so it's not like it's not like I'm surprised. But it makes that imperfect as well. There's not really one way to do it. It's just however you want to deal with the medium and what gluing it down is going to do to it. So in this case, gluing it down will get texture if you wanted to color it with pencils. But with this paint, it's perfectly fine for me to paint over these things. And the reason that I wanted to use paint was because the fairy, she's from a book that's like paint by number or paint your own or whatever. And it's, well, in Copic coloring, we call it no lines, which is basically super, super light lines so that when you color it, the lines disappear. But I don't know what it's supposed to be called, but that's what we call it. We just print our stuff, or you stamp with like gray ink, and then when you color it with the Copics are so vivid that the gray lines disappear. So it looks like you colored or drew without having to having the black lines around everything. So that's what that fairy book is. And Sven, I don't know why Disney chose to do this. I think it's really weird. And I've actually colored one of these images as with crayons as a child would, and it doesn't look great. But he's from a Frozen book where all the lines are blue. And so when you color a person and you color all of their stuff and their clothes and all of that stuff, they're outlined in blue. Now, Disney traditionally uses different colors to outline their characters, not in Frozen, obviously, because that's computer generated. But they're 2D animation, like if you look at Lion King, he's yellow and his outlines are yellow. But, excuse me. But I've never seen blue over the whole thing, because there's still parts where they'll just change the color. They don't just go with a color for the entire thing. So I don't know why Disney chose that for this book. Or for these books, because I have a princess one too that does this. So I thought the only way that I could get around this, because it did not look good in the book, was using those specific images this way. So that's a long-winded way of saying this is why I'm painting Sven in here this way. And here I kind of wanted a metallic shimmer to her wings. So I'm using a Prima shimmer paint, the Art Alchemy acrylic paint. I'm looking over at them now. If my voice happened to change. So yeah, I really like this paint. I don't use it a whole lot because of the shimmer. I got it because of the shimmer, right? Because it's metallic, and I like metallic. I don't like glitter, but I like metallic. But the problem is the formulation of the paint makes it sort of a sticky kind of texture. So I have to plan what I'm going to do with it, because I usually prefer more of a matte look. And I'm sorry I'm off camera here. I'm just taking a different color green. Here, you can see me. I'm taking a different color green and painting over so it looks like there's two layers to these evergreen type trees that I've created in the snow here. And I realized that I didn't blend out all of this dark, harsh green border, so I kind of painted more trees into it. But yeah, it's just going to look like that, so whatever. And here I'm taking Faber-Castell Pitt pens, and you're not going to be able to see it great on the camera. I'm so sorry. It's one of those things where it's a subtle effect, but it works in real life. So what I'm doing is I'm going over her lines, and I'm going over her where she would have shadows. And since I have matte mediumed on this, this is a slick non-porous surface, so I can move that color. So when I do take the pictures, you'll be able to see that it adds shading whenever I swipe my finger over it. And right now I'm just matching the color that I painted on her. So, like I was saying with the no lines coloring, or like Disney does, it's a similar color to what I'm outlining. So it's not a harsh black line, but it's still a firm line that your eye can see. Okay, this is where this fold is, and that's where that fold is, etc. So that's what I'm doing here, and I could have left it. You could sort of still see the gray, but I think that it just kind of pops more this way, especially with her legs, because since I was painting on matte medium, the paint did not flow as it would if you had used gesso where the paint is going to grip it, or if you had just used untreated paper where it would just sink in. The matte medium allowed everything to flow, so it was kind of smushing around, which isn't a bad look, but it was not the look I was going for. So, and now you can see that shine on her wings. I just wanted to, move it around a bit so you could see that. And before I filmed this, I did test out and make sure that this is the look that I wanted to do. I'm not a, art journalist PhD, so I don't necessarily know that the things I'm going to try will work well. And I didn't want to film it and be like, oh, okay, here, I'm a dumbass and I'm showing you this, and watch, it's not going to work. So I just tested out some of Sven's lines, so his are already done. And then I'm just going to add some more texture in on him. Like I said, he's not colored the way he would normally be colored. There are many, many variations of reindeer. I just looked up a reindeer, a real one, and colored him accordingly. So that's why he doesn't look like the Disney character, except for the fact that he's drawn that way. And, like I said, if you haven't watched the movie, you may not even know that. But, just full disclosure, he's not. And I'm giving her hair a little bit more definition. Like I said, her skin has already gotten the treatment, so it has some shading on it. You just can't see it on the camera, apparently. I have this thing where, I craft at a 2x4 desk in my kitchen, and so I don't have the great lighting. And I bought really, really great lights. So it's either crappy, dark, kitchen-y light, or it's super bright, you can't see anything. And I can't get it in between. There is no happy medium. So, yeah. I'm sorry. That was a normal CF cough, though. But I actually looked up how to color the antlers, because I was really afraid that they were white, and they're not. Reindeers have brownish fluff on them for a lot of their growing time, apparently. And then when the fluff comes off, it's also this deep brownish on their antlers, which is good because my dog, he has we call it a deer bone, but it's a piece of antler, which is essentially bone, but it's all white, and I'm like, it's gonna be white with these stupid blue outlines, and then it's gonna be on the background, and it's not gonna be great. So I was a little worried about that. And I finally figured out what all this green stuff in the background is. It's a forest. Of course it's a forest. Why wouldn't it be a forest? So I went and I defined some treetops with my India ink. And again, if I didn't mention it, or if you don't know, the reason that this works is because India ink and these pens are robust. Do not use your Copics to do this, because you will kill the nibs. Those things are freaking fragile, and the only thing that they like is paper. So don't hurt your Copics. I don't know about other markers. I don't have other markers. But I can tell you that the only reason that works is because the Faber-Castell Pitt pens are India ink, and they're meant to work with mixed media. That's kind of their job. So they're prepared for what I'm doing to them. And what I'm doing is I'm using Tim Holtz Grit. There we are. It is, exactly what it says on the tin. It's gritty, and it's almost like it's got sand in it, but it doesn't have sand in it. It's a wonderful creamy, and then it has a smooth grit on it, and I thought it's really perfect for snow, honestly. I've used it for sand, and it's perfect for sand. So, I wanted to make those special snowflakes that you saw me define there and get all the extra, crappiness off. I wanted to make those snowflakes special, so this girl is now holding a snowflake, and maybe she's giving it to the reindeer. Maybe she's just flying around with it. I honestly don't know. Um, and I just used my paintbrush and then the Posca paint pen, which I really should hold my things before I go and do that, because I have a bunch of weirdly shaped things, but snow. But yeah, and I'm just showing you this Tim Holtz word. It's always be prepared, or always be on the lookout for the presence of wonder. There we are. Um, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, but it's one of those ones where I could only use it in an art journal, and this is about snow, so there you go. And I'll give you a very slow pass through so you can see the details via my camera, and then I'm going to take some photos and you will see those. And I haven't taken them yet, so I'm not going to voice over them. So thank you very much for watching. I am so sorry I have a cold, and I will see you next time. All right, goodbye.